Good days, folks. How are you? This is the Celtic Mutt, and this is the first real installment of my life with hydrocephalus. I am, as I said in the intro, 54 years old, which means I was born in 1970. Um, there was no indication to my parents that I was going to be born with hydrocephalus. In fact, I don't even believe that they were able to test back then uh, in utero uh, for the disorder. So I appeared somewhat normal. Um, 10 days late, came out fist first, so I came out swinging. But there were no outward signs, from what I understand, of having hydrocephalus. It wasn't until I was about 2 or maybe 3 months old that I started developing this soft spot in the back of my head. My mother took me into the Portsmouth Naval Hospital, which is where I was diagnosed as having hydrocephalus. I was then shunted and was in the hospital for an extended period of time. Um, and my folks were pretty much told that, it was going to be a roll of the dice as to how long I would survive. The survival rate back then was not very high. Um, my folks were not accepting that answer. Um, and here I am 54 years later. So, there is something to be said for their tenacity. Um, one of the things that I do remember hearing growing up was that shortly after I got out of the hospital, my folks went to New Jersey with me and to visit some family, and the shunt tube that goes from the shunt down in, at that time it went down into the abdominal cavity, um, had broken loose and actually protruded out of my neck. I actually have a scar. You can't really see it. It is kind of over the course of the years expanded out, but it is right in here. Um, so my folks rushed me to Elizabeth, New Jersey hospital there in Elizabeth, where my aunt was a nurse, and she told my parents that there was really not a whole lot they could do. They weren't equipped to really handle anybody with hydrocephalus. Again, at that time, back in the 70s, there were only a handful of hospitals that dealt with hydrocephalus. I believe, from what my mother told me at the time, there were only three major hospitals. Um, one in Portsmouth Naval was one. One, I believe, in St. Louis, and then another one. I don't remember where the third one was. Um, but they pretty much told her to rush me back down to Portsmouth. Now, from Elizabeth, at that time, from Elizabeth to Portsmouth was approximately an 8 hour trip. And from what I understand, my father made that 8 hour trip in about 4 hours, not going under 100 miles an hour the entire time, as my mother held me with the gauze pressed to my neck so that they could, maintain pressure. Now, mind you, the entire time this is happening, whatever maybe in the air was being absorbed into through the gauze and into my going straight to my brain. So the chance for some sort of an infection was extremely high, and the doctors were rather grim about my chances, from what I understand. But um, that was the first of my gotcha moments, because I came through fairly decently, um, and proceeded to recover. It also provided me with the first of my multiple scars, um, which I, over the course of the 54 years that I've been on this planet, have learned to accept as a badge of survival, badges of battle. Um, you may have heard the phrase "Hydro Warrior." Uh, yeah, that sums it up pretty well. Um, because we do fight, you know. It was an experience that I don't remember, but has stuck with my family for all this time. Um, they still remember it, like it was yesterday. Uh, but it was, it was just a part of life. So that's the first of the real situations that I've had. I am actually going to be visiting my mother. My father's since passed, and so I can't really discuss with him any of this, but my mother is still here, and I will be going to visit her very soon, and we'll be getting some more stories from her so that I can share them with you. Things that happened when I was much younger and don't remember them as well as she would. Um, so I'm going to ask for you to continue to follow this. And if you, again, have any questions, please feel free to drop them down in the comments. And feel free to like, share, and subscribe this playlist as it continues to grow. I look forward to hearing from you. And until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. And I'll see you real soon.